and the likelihood that the son can come to be made a president in any way. I happen to come from Kore, I come from Tungamo, and you are among the MPs who sat in State House, Rwachitura, some time back when you were an MP, to give Museveni backup that he was not supposed to restore Ankole Kingdom. And things have now come to bite that there is connivance where the son can come to be the president. Now, as leaders, as past leaders, as coming leaders, why do you do such things? Why do you back up things that does not work? What is the fate of this nation? So my question is, our colleague has been arrested over sectarianism. Why do you do such laws when you know that humanity and leadership does not stop with you? Thank you.
Kindly, we try to be brief a bit because of time. Any other questions, please?
Thank you so much. My name is Kasule Mark Jackson. I work with BBS Telefire. The issue about human rights has become, talking about human rights has become a norm to an extent that some opposition leaders had to host a function about human rights in Kenya. They displayed to us people who have gone through torture and arrests. In his address, while at a function at the Uganda Police Headquarters, General Tafiri came out and said opposition leaders should be investigated about what is going on. We have seen and hear the attacks on security headquarters. Can I have your take on these issues that are coming up, Honorable Matembe and Honorable Wasolwe, about these issues? About the what? Because what is happening maybe is what has caused General Otafiri to say or to put a statement that opposition leaders should be investigated about what is going on. I don't know whether I've been got. Mr. Wasolwe, you've not got me. I want you to comment about General Otafiri's statements. Yes. Because General Otafiri said opposition leaders should be investigated about what is going on in the country. The attacks on security forces, the human rights, the statements made by different human rights organizations. Yes. And recently, it was last week, police came out and said and warned actually Dr. Livingstone about his statements on attacks on police.
What did he say?
He was condemning the act of police removing some police officers on police posts. So police came out and said he should be cautious about what he says about police.
Thank you. Another one?
Another question.
I'm Rita Jay's in Namugabo, working with Baba TV. My question is, on Saturday, we're in Nakauka. We're celebrating the Human Rights Day. And the MP, woman MP, Wakso District, Honorable Betty Narima. And then the woman MP Mukono District, they were like, Uganda shouldn't be celebrating this day because we don't have human rights in Uganda. And then they were like, if human rights like was in Uganda, no people would be like, for example, the president, Kabuleta, and the other people that have been yeah. So, and they rubbished all the celebrations in each and every bite they were doing, in all the whatevers. The interviews they were saying there is no right for Uganda to celebrate that day because we don't have Human Rights Day in Uganda because no one is free. Then last week we were at the Uganda Human Rights Commission headquarters, and we asked them that when President Joseph Kabuleta the lawyer came out and was like, he was denied his access to the family members at first. He was denied access to his doctors, like personal doctor. He was denied access to see, his people, relatives, and so forth. And we asked them, you as the Human Rights Commission, what have you done to ensure that Joseph Kabuleta is in good condition, he's being catered for, he sees the lawyers, he sees his personal doctor and the family members. Then they were like, they've already sent people that same day, they had sent people in the morning. So we wanted them to tell us, yeah, they had sent people that real day to go and see the situation that he was in. Then later in the evening, they would tell us or give us the report about each and everything, all the situation that he was in. So I want to ask the members of NEED, is it true?
This conference is not for NEED, so that is misdirected. Any other questions, please?
Can we respond to this? Because
Okay.
we are going to forget. Because
Right.
these people are not even straightforward in their questions. Where is the other man who asked me the first question? Has he left? Where is he? First of all, you should first find your facts before you come to ask such questions. Because when you tell me that I sat Simanywe and agreed to refuse the king, the installation of the king, you don't understand what you are saying. Because it is not true. Now just listen. If you have attendance of that meeting, then you can bring the list of attendance of that meeting. Because you don't even know where I come from. You don't even know that it was even my father and the Tinyefuza and Ertumwin and the rest of the people who installed the king and Museveni removed him. You don't know that. Because if you knew that, you don't know where the king of Ankwere was coming from. You don't know how I'm connected with him. So when you come and say that I was there and saying don't put king, that's, I reserve the words which I usually use. But that's a total lie. It's a lie, sir. I don't know how old you are. Wait. Because you put Matembe on the Katebe to account to you. Now I'm telling you that what you said is not right, is not true. I never sit with President Museveni to do wrong things. And Matembe is on record that when all the 20 years I worked with NRM, I never condoned any wrongdoing. It's very clear. If you're a young man who doesn't know that, then you go and read the history of Matembe. Because even when it came to violation of the Constitution for the first time, I stood up and objected, and that's why I was thrown out of whatever. That's why they follow me. Even when I go on TV, they say, please remove her. She's dangerous to the nation. Nevertheless, I have continued to speak out my mind. And so don't put me in the category of people who do wrong. Because even if you go in the history, you'll find that I don't know whether you'll find a wrong that Matembe has done that to offend the government or to do whatever. Now, maybe to offend the government, I speak, I criticize the wrong they do. Now, the other thing was, why do we make laws which are bad? Now, when the law of sectarianism was made, I don't remember which year when it was made, but it came against this, you know, sectarianism is how do I explain sectarianism? Is when you do something because of a tribe or ethnicity, like you give people jobs because they are your tribe or they are your ethnicity or they are connected to you in a way. Or you refuse to do something for somebody because he's not you are of a certain tribe, of a certain whatever. Or you punish somebody because she's that tribe or that ethnicity. In other words, tribes do exist, ethnicities do exist, but when you do something which you wouldn't otherwise have done if this was not of that tribe, that's when it becomes sectarianism. Now, when NRM government came to power, if you read the constitution, against all the wrong things that were being done, here, for instance, in Amin's government, you had to be a Nubian, something like Nubians. If I tell you what I did one day, people, I was sharing with somebody, those days their transport was very, very scarce, extremely scarce. Tribal buses could not be there. You had like to walk all the way to Rizira where I lived, Portobello from town. And then one day with my baby, I was young with my baby and I wanted to get into a bus. But because I didn't have the kanga, the Nubian, the nose, you had to put something in the nose, you have to and put the kanga and wear like a Nubian, Israel Nubian. And so I went to go to the bus, at the bus park. And I said, can I pass here? Because I have a baby and I can't squeeze because everybody was squeezing to enter the bus. But I have this 3 months baby, I can't, or 2, I can't squeeze. Then the man there at the bus, of course, would be, the driver would be a Nubian, the one conductor would be a Nubian, everybody would be a Nubian. So I went and said, can I pass here? I said, no, you all go there. And then after that, then the Nubian woman comes and they enter. And then I come again and say, can you hear it? No. And then another Nubian, 2 Nubian women came and entered. And then when I came a third time, he said no. When I was still standing there, the Nubian came to enter and I said, we are tired and fed up. I pulled the kanga and threw it down and the Nubian ran into the bus and you know that kind of thing. Eh? Where it comes, say, if you have a certain nose, then that's the one who gets the job. When it is automatically known that, there, unless you are that, and with the Obote's government, unless you were from Mulango or Acholi or whatever, you would never be anything. You get what I'm telling you? So when NRM came to power, they said no. This sectarianism won't work. Let us pass a law. To what? To remove that when you practice sectarianism, and I'm sure sectarianism is what is defined in that law. Like assuming you are a manager and you are giving jobs, you don't have to look for or you don't have to look for but see whatever it is anyway. That's why the law came. You hear? So it was not a bad law what you are choosing me that you are passing bad law and that kind of thing. The law may be a good law, but the implementation and the application of that law I want you, if you said that actually that law is redundant, if you say that it is redundant because the very government which put that law is exercising maximally what it was trying to do, what? To avoid. To avoid. Because like Mr. Rude was saying, if you say, but wait a minute, let us look into people who have studied, who got all the bursaries to go and study for oil things. Eh? You open and look, where do they come from? Okay? If you say, you go and look at whether UNRA, whether Revenue Authority, where all these important organizations, and see which people are there. When you say that, they accuse you of sectarianism. Eh? But the people who put them there are free. Put them there. So the problem is not passing the bad law. The problem is the government which passed the law, and yet it is abusing it and misusing it, while they themselves practicing and implementing sectarianism. That's what I said, and I say it openly because it is true. They themselves implement and practice sectarianism, and if me, Matembe, I say, that is ethnicity, that is sectarianism, that is tribalism, then I'm the one who must be charged in a court of law, which is not right. We are challenging it. We are saying it is not right. And I believe I am here talking, I'm sure majority of Ugandans agree with me. Don't they? Even you seated here, I don't see you clapping because maybe you are also part of the sectarianism. You are part of that sectarianism, you also. Eh? But it is true, who doesn't know? That's why I have always told the Ugandans, I say, you people, some of us, if things change badly, some of us will do what? Will suffer for nothing. Some of us will suffer for nothing. I'm telling you, when I was a lecturer at Uganda College of Commerce here, when Museveni was in the bush, you don't know how much I suffered. The very principal would tell us, that's why young people from the college even went to the bush. You tell us, you look at your nose, go, follow your Museveni. Go away, follow him. You don't know how much I suffered at that UCC for Museveni. And even right now, I suffered for him. I'm thrown out of any job, I'm thrown out because of him. You see how some of us will suffer for nothing because we are fighting for what is right. So don't ever raise a finger that Matembe is doing wrong. I never do wrong things. I fight for fairness, I fight for justice, I fight for equality. Whether you are a Munyankore, do wrong, I tell you are doing wrong. If you are in Uganda, you do wrong, I tell you are doing wrong. If you are opposition, you are doing wrong, I say you are doing wrong. If you are government and you are doing wrong, I say you are doing wrong. You hear? Because I work for God. The other question was, what did I write about rights, beauty? That was the lady. Eh? Somebody asked you lady, you talked of the human rights. Yes, human rights, there is a massive abuse of human rights. Abuse and violation of human rights. When I was making the Constitution of Uganda, I think it is chapter 4, we were making that chapter against the huge, massive violation of human rights in this country. And therefore, that's why we made that law. That's why we even said there must be a commission for human rights. And it was established. But if the commission for human rights is not, it has a role to play. And one of those roles is actually to help to find out, to investigate and see whether people are being arrested or accused rightly. But you know, they fear. The commission also fears. But what the members of parliament were saying was right. There is abusive and violation of human rights in Uganda. such an extent that even the civil society organizations have been shut down. Do you still hear civil society organizations talking? Do you still hear them? We said Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy, which I was chairing, didn't they shut it down and close it? What about to Chapter 4, which used to fight and shout for human rights promotion? Wasn't it closed down? What about to Greece of Godba? Wasn't it closed down? And when those are closed down, the smaller ones fear, and so they cannot talk. And now people are suffering on their own. Let me tell you, twice, when Amin was removed, there were so many bodies, dead bodies and whatever found even in the State House itself there at Nakasero. Many. And when Obote was removed also, if you don't know the bodies in the conference center in Nairo Hotel, they were dead bodies and people who had been abducted and were being found there that time. I have always said that if we are not careful, if this government is not careful, assuming it disappears, it goes like that, like the other ones were overthrown. I wonder how many dead bodies and skeletons would find in some of these places. We might find them there. So for us, we are saying, please, human rights are human rights. And the law to protect human rights is there. And the government, why the government goes into power is for protection and guiding and guard of human beings in this country. Because those people in government are there because we are supposed to have put them there through elections, and they are supposed to account to us. And you can imagine when I'm arrested and my lawyer can't see me and my doctor can't see me and you are suffering in prison. What is that? When, by the way, according to the principle that governs Uganda, I am innocent. I am innocent until proved guilty. Those members who are in parliament, who are they? Sigirinya and Sewanyan and his colleague, whoever they are innocent until proved guilty. But you know what they have suffered in that place? Kabireta himself and this lady Prose, I didn't know that they had charged him with another person. This girl Prose, she's there suffering. I don't know whether even her relatives have seen her. I didn't know that she was there. And you know, for me, it is my habit, since I live in Ruzira, to go and see every political prisoner who is arrested. In fact, I was planning to go and see them because I know any time I would be there. Whoever, whether Moses Ari, whether the Omara, I used to go there and see them when they were being arrested. So I intend to go there and I will see that girl also. Why should a young girl be arrested because she talked of sectarianism? She said this sectarianism is bad, they are practicing it. And now, she's at large. She's only, maybe she's even disappeared. That is serious. Maybe she has disappeared, you people. And I remember they said she's that girl who talked at the conference. Actually, when she talked, I knew they would arrest her. Yeah, because when you stand up and speak the truth, when you are not an outstanding, you disappear. That's why I want to fight for them. Now, of police and Kahindo Tafire, whatever you were talking about, that Kahindo Tafire said the opposition should be investigated. This is one thing I was saying. What? I am not part of those people who are hitting police. I am not involved in any illegal activity. I sit at my home in Port Bell and listen to news and see. But the one point I want to tell, even Otafire himself, who went to the bush, who was even involved, he used to tell us that at times they would be the one to kill those people and say it is the government here doing it. He used to say it in order to get support from public. They would come and do something, and then you see, the government is persecuting you, so they would join them. So he thinks that also people are doing that. But what I want to tell him is that people are angry. Ugandans are angry. Ugandans are tired. Ugandans had expected a better and good leadership from them. But now when they diverted and turned against Ugandans, and now they are behaving like the other governments which they removed, they are tired. They can do anything. It may not necessarily be opposition. I don't know what he means by opposition. For instance, I'm opposing what they are doing. I'm opposing, and other people are opposing what they are doing. But they are not necessarily going to fight the police. But part of those who are opposing may go and even fight the police also. And incidentally, those people, Otafire's people themselves, like they used it in the bush to go and do the crime so that the other people may be persecuted. Who knows whether it isn't even the one doing what they used to do in the bush to attract support. Who wouldn't know? So he should also be investigated. And actually what comes to my mind is I heard that President Museveni has instructed Mao. This man is laughable. What he does is really laughable, although it pains us. That he has instructed Mao. Imagine Mao of yesterday, Mao whom he denied that he never agreed with him. They are not even at the understanding together. And now he says Mao should investigate the disappearance. The kidnap and the disappearance. Is Mao the internal affairs? Is Mao the DPP? Why didn't he ask the DPP? The DPP is an independent office which must do its work. And internal affairs is the one who deals with crimes. Now how can Mao, Minister of Justice, now be the one to investigate? They are just making fun. And you remember Mr. Rure here was reminding us of those people who were arrested during elections. Don't you remember President Museveni saying, I'm the one? Have you forgotten? He said, I'm the one who knows, who have ordered for these people's arrest, and I'm the one, I know who they are. Didn't he say so? Now, if they have never been produced, shouldn't he be the one to get them to us? Because I remember he said so. He said that. So why doesn't he get them to us if they are still lost? But anyway, the crux of the matter is the government. Me, I'm talking from the experience I have had, right from Amin's government to Obote II government, to the first Museveni's, to Rutua's government, to whatever Mwanga's government. What we suffered, we had hoped that when NRM government comes, we would not suffer those things again. For me, the message I'm telling the government and the Ugandans is that no, this is not the time when Ugandans should be dying, when Ugandans should be suffering. This is not the time. What are we dying for? Because people died for us. You remember when Jesus died for us on the cross that we may go to heaven? So why should Christians again now die, suffer, when Jesus died for us? So the NRM warriors, I'm telling you, I had uncles, I had cousins, they died, and I'm taking the burden of caring for their children without the government participating in it. They died and went and they died for us. Why should there be another death now that those people died to redeem us? Why? 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 It should stop.
The young lady who said when they were celebrating human rights, I don't know what he was celebrating. Me, I was never invited to those celebrations. But when lawyers are denied access and the family, that is a signal that the state is collapsing. When the prison services begin to bow down to pressure from the executive, when they stop following the established procedures, the procedures in prison services are very clear. At established times, the lawyers can have access to the accused, and the family should be allowed, not only in the prisons but in the police. It's the same thing. So when those systems begin collapsing, it's a bad signal, a very bad signal. And it is also a signal that there might be no intention to take somebody through the judicial process, because these shortcomings in front of the judicial process will be highlighted, and a form of defense. That is one thing. And it is also a sign that somebody is being punished at this stage before they are accused in court or whatever. So there's a problem there. My friend from BBS, you talked about taking issues to Kenya. I don't know whether the issue was taking the issues to Kenya or there was something that was not clear. Oh no, Tarifa's statement I'll come to, but you mentioned going to Kenya. Was it related to those statements?
Yes, the opposition went and celebrated the Human Rights Day
in Kenya. Yes.
Now,
they said that it is difficult to conduct business here.
And there are some people they displayed in Kenya, claiming that they were victims of human rights abuses.
Okay. Now, for whatever reason they went to Kenya, there were celebrations in Kenya. But you see, that's the problem with some of us in opposition, that when we go to Kenya, we should not say it is impossible to conduct business here, because we are here on human rights issues, and we are stating them, I think, fairly ably. But they have their reasons. But I think sometimes some people are overzealous and they go overboard. But that's not really an issue. And I won't go into the substance of the people they displayed because I don't know them. However, when it comes to my good friend General Tafiro saying that they should be investigated, unless he says for what reason they should be investigated, it's not clear. But he's a good man. He might be saying it jokingly, you know. he might be saying it jokingly. And because sometimes you have to explain issues, and if you have difficulty, you put on, you know, in politics is sometimes like that. Or the people who are displayed. Yes, but I can't comment about that without knowing whether or not that is true. The substance. He might have a reason to believe it, and the other people might have a reason to believe otherwise. So it's a question of now facts and facts. So, but whether he should investigate, let him go ahead and investigate. If he's investigating, not using drones to arrest first and torture and then reach conclusions, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Yeah, I think those are the issues. About the law of sectarianism should not be there, because if you go into our laws and constitutions, discrimination by itself there's a law against it. The law, it's not the problem is not with the law, it is in the application of the law. You see, the issue is not the law and the issue is not sectarianism. The issue is that the people who allege that there's sectarianism, the people who are concerned about sectarianism in governance are then accused of sectarianism because they have talked of a sectarian statistic. But was still, after being accused, in some cases incarcerated and punished outside of the law, they are never actually taken to court because it will never hold water. And that is in 99.99% of the cases. So the problem is not in the law, it is in the application of the law. It's a bit like this issue of lawyers being denied. The procedures are there, the rules are very clear of lawyers and family being able to access their people. But when those procedures break down, then you know that there's something wrong with the system. And those are the signs of a system that is collapsing. When you look at the governance of today, you look at the amount of pressure that is being put on now, in this case, the prison services, in many cases, the police services, the amount of pressure that is put on the judiciary to fall in line, the amount of pressure that is put on the parliament to fall in line, the amount of the way business is being conducted generally, be it during elections or even the way business is conducted in parliament, where the finances seem to be, passing through the system. The systems have to be greased. Then you know that there's something seriously wrong with the system. It's of course, it's with the people who are in the system, but those are signals that the system is getting more and more rotten to the core.
Thank you so much.
If I can, on this. We had the 10-point program. It came against the background of, violation of human rights, torture of Ugandans, suffering of Ugandans, and it came with the intention to redeem Ugandans from that suffering. And therefore, put the constitution, put the laws, which were supposed to help it to redeem Ugandans. But down the road, they realized that actually they loved to stay in power more than redeeming Ugandans, than serving Ugandans. So they changed and they became like the governments they were removing. Okay? So now that they are even perfecting the evil and the wrong that the other governments were doing, I don't think they still need the laws which they put there. Because now, if the sectarian law was put there to prevent sectarianism in employment, in economic empowerment, in all those kind of things, if it was there to prevent that, and the point, one of the 10-point program was unity of Ugandans. To what extent are Ugandans united now? They are so divided to the level of a county becoming a district. Now, if that is what has happened, is the point of unity still a crucial point? Therefore, is the law of sectarian, apart from now using it against somebody who is mobilizing Ugandans to put them up also against the sectarianism that have been imposed on them, then it is a meaningless law. Because for sure, do you really say, can the government say that since Kabureta Simanyi held the conference in May, isn't it? That he held the conference in May and they talked, and that what they talked was bound to promote sectarianism, to divide Simanyi Banyankore and Bahima, as if the two are not one tribe. You know, do you see the nonsense? I'm coming again with these words which I had abandoned. But you can see the whole nonsense, the whole game. The carburetor and this lady are not arrested for sectarianism. No, they are arrested because of their political difference. The political difference, they have an alternative view to the NRM view, and therefore they must be arrested. And in any case, the charge, if somebody committed the alleged charge in May, can they prove the evils and the impact of that statement which he made in May? Do they have people who suffered as a result of that statement, that he should be accused and be put in prison because of that statement? And in any case, is that the worst crime in this country, that you cannot get bail? And I'm looking here, the prosecutor was saying that, you know, Kabireta has a passport, he can run away. Run away from where? If I'm accused of sectarianism and they put me in court and they give me bail, where should I run away from this country? On the basis of sectarianism. And I run away. You see, the problem is that the judiciary has been subjugated, the parliament has been subjugated, there are no institutions in this country to do their roles as they should do, and therefore we are just suffering. That's it. And that's why we say, fellow Ugandans, at least for us, me, the appeal I make is not for you to go to the bush. No. Because we went to the bush, came, and you see what is happening. For those who went to the bush, the Tinyufuzas who were talking, what benefit? So now we are saying, since the Constitution guarantees our rights, let us oppose, let us criticize, critique government, which is our right. Let us hold our government to account, which is our right. And let us talk, which is our right. Why should we be silent? Do you know how many people tell me, Matembe, you are not safe? Will you really stay alive? And I tell them, with my God's defense and security, I will stay alive because I have done no crime. Because I have a right, according to the law, to criticize the government, to challenge it when it does wrong. I have that right as a Ugandan. So why should I be shut up? Because if I talk, I will suffer. So what would that be different? How would it be different from the time of Amin and the time of Obote? How would it be different?
Just to go back on that, you just awoken me to one thing, that the statements which are referred to in this video are statements that were in that conference that was in the conference center, the one where I was, where I'm witness to. I laugh, I really laugh, because contrary to, and I'm not discussing the merits of the case, contrary to what this document says, those statements were not causing discontent or disaffection and promoting feelings of ill will, hostility among Banyarwanda, Bahima, because I don't remember Banyarwanda being mentioned. For starters, that is an inaccuracy. I don't remember it. But they seem to be complaining about dividing the Banyankore, which also this statement is doing. It is taking the Banyankore and dividing them into to Bahima and then Banyankore and Banyarwanda. You know, it's funny how laws are applied, but I'm sure that one will be sorted out, and when they get to court, we'll try and make sure that we are there to see if this thing can be sorted out, this stupidity.
We have one more question.
A moment before maybe the question. Journalist from Baba TV said Woman MP Wakiso, when they were celebrating the Human Rights Day, they said there is no need. Ladies and gentlemen, why do we celebrate? We celebrate to appreciate achievements and devise means of filling gaps or challenges, not so. But if that doesn't come out, therefore her statement was right. Thank you so much.
One more question.
John William from Tagi Television. Before I ask my question, directed to the people from Busoga, Bunyoro. I'll first request Honorable Matembe and Honorable Uganda version. Now my question now goes to the people from Bunyoro. You demanded for the immediate release of President Kabuleta, and you didn't give the time frame. And if they don't release him in that time frame that you're going to demand for, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, like, if they don't release, if the government doesn't release him at that time frame?
Thank you very much. We said unconditional release. That means immediate release. We don't need to put a time frame. And in case they don't release him, one of the things we are going to opt to look for our position on the map of Uganda. We want to discover ourselves on the map of Uganda. What are we and where are we? Where do we belong? Do we belong there or not? Yes? And we shall raise up our voices higher than they can hear them.
Thank you so much for the question. Like Mama Matembe said, that we should not give up. We should not condone evil or violation of human rights. So let us wait. If he's not released, we should continue talking until something happens.
Uganda, I will just say just a few things. You come and put here. Yes, we have been called upon here to, bananga. Mwe Uganda mwe mwarunjigiriza. Okay, Uganda of course nze rwange rwa kulye mmere. Naruyiga kubanga naberanga mu Buganda nga mba njagala kyakulya munange ndina okwogera. Naye Oluganda nja mu bufunze ruyali. Ekituleese wano nga bwe mbagambye Oluganda sirumanyi lwonna. Bwe nteekamu eby'Oluzungu mujja kuntegeera. Ekituleese wano kwogera namwe press, kwogera ne Ugandans nga tuyitamu mmwe ab'amawulire. Kwe kulumirwa oba concern gye tuyina ku bantu mu Uganda muno government ebeekwata nebasiba ne babakwata mu bukyamu ne bababuzaawo oba bababuzaako kidnap, arrest nga mu bukyamu nga bakozesa emmotoka yaabwe eno gye bayita drone. Nze nganze Miriya bwe bampise nti nzije wano njogere. Ne mpulira nti yes, kituufu nzije njogere. Nga nchalenjinga, nga nvumirira ebikolwa bino, ebikolwa gavumenti ate ne yeegaana n'ebuzaabuza nefaananira ddala ng'ebiseera biri bye twayitamu. Mpulidde nti ndina okujja njogere nga nkuba omulanga ku bana Ugandans bagenze ne bayingira mu kutya okutabangako ne batya. Nze bwe tuba tunyumya nga pointi ya gavumenti enejjamu ogenda kulaba abantu basirika batambula ne bakuvaako bwe tobattisa. Tutuuse ku pointi eyo ey'okugamba kasita bagamba ku kya gavumenti nga shut up. Naye nga ntatenze Mukama yampa omumwa gwange. Buli omu nsi muno alina kitone kye Mukama kye yamuwa. Nze omumwa gwe yasingayo kumpa. Ate yagumpa mu kigambo kya Katonda kiri mu Bayibuli. Bwe mugende mugisome. Isaiah chapter 49 verse 1 kutuuka ku gwokusatu olunyiriri olwo. Olabe Matembe mwenyimirira kwogera. Naye ngamba nti kanzije wano njogere nga nvumirira ebikolwa bino gavumenti ebyekola. Ebyokukwata abantu baffe, ebyokutulugunya abantu baffe, ebyokusiba abantu baffe ate ne beegaana nti tetumanyi na gye bali. Nze kambabulire, singa Kabuleetono we baasiba kati ali mu prison, singa teyayina bagiyita VC kamera, singa tebayina CCT kamera mu ofiisi yaabwe, bandibadde era bamwegaana, bali batandise n'okwegaana ngu tebamumanyi. Bwe bagenda kutegeera nti abantu babakwata ebifaananyi ne bagamba katumuleete tumuteekeyo. Naye bangi nnyo abakwatiddwa batalina ezo CCT cameras, abali eyo betutumanyi gye bali. Kale bwe bangambe nze mbeera waka ndaba TV mpulira abantu bakaaba, abakazi bakuba mulanga, omwana wange simulabangako, abakazi bakuba mulanga, mwami simulaba ndi wano, abaana bandemye. Bali eyo ng'ebintu binduma ne mbyetika ku mugongo gwange wano ku mutwe nga bindumira waka. Naye bwe banaalabya bampita nti oyinza kujja obivumire, ne ngamba nti ate mumpise kumpa omulimu Katonda gwe yampadda. Ne nzija wano mbivumirire kubanga nze Miriam Matembe nvumirira bintu bino nga ave mabega. Kati ndi mu myaka gyange eno eyabagira ngu evening time. Ndi mu evening time n'ebintu bino twabibonabonangako nze nga ndi ne Makerere. Ndi Makerereyo nga nkiri student. Black Tuesday gye mumanyi yatandikira Makerere. Black Tuesday bwe batta oyo muganda wange yali Serwanga a person with disability ne bamukuba amasasi ku geti wali Makerere. Ffe twadduka speed nga batubonyabonya nga tutya abaana b'essomero e Makerere nga tukyali mu university. Ebintu bino byengamba ffe byatutandika dda. Otundu bwe twamuyisa mu ddirisa n'adduka n'agenda. Byatutandika dda ffe tubimanyi. Nendoka nemala okusoma nembeera mu ggwanga muno amines time ne tubonaabona ne batta abantu baffe ne badisappearinga. Otaddemu n'Archbishop mwe yafiira ne baministers babiri ne baba stagingawo nti emmotoka ye batometa ate ng'ebabasse. Ebyo tetwagala kuddamu kubiraba kati ffe twabiraba dda ne bitubonyabonya. Obote bwe yajja nga abakazi bakwata omukazi w'olubuto ngu banoonya masasi n'embunuka pa bamuteeka ku kiso n'afa. Abaana ne babafumitamu obwambi. Ebyo na twabiraba, twabonaabona. Era gavumenti bwe bazijjako nga ogenda kulaba mu State House omwe emirambo yali ejjuddawo entebe na kaseero awo na kaseero mu State House. Obote bwe yavaawo abaali emirambo national na mansions, Nairo mansions eyo Serena gy'olaba nga hoteeri mu rooms nga basangamu emirambo nga yavunda dda. Byonna ebyo twabiraba. Nze nganzi oluusi ngenda n'endowooza nti oba kubanga ye pulezidenti teyali wano, yali mu nsiko eyo, obwamiini yali taliiwo, nfe tubiraba. Ali eyo Tanzania oba aliwa, obwobote yali mu nsiko, naye ffe nga tuli wano tubiraba. N'olwekyo bwe yajja najja na 10-point program, najja bana tuzze ku redeeminga bana Uganda young people. Nze nali mu UPM. Ndi Museveni bwe yajja n'agamba nze ndi UPM myaka 8, ffenna abavubuka bato ne tumweyungako. Era nze kye nali mukondeminga nti lwaki bano abavubuka abeeyunga ku Kyagulanyi, lwaki babakuba ne bababonyaabonya? Ffe bwe twamweyungako mu 1980 nga tebaatukuba tebaatutta. Twali tugenda ne young, ffe ba youth, twagenda ne young person, new person. Naye obululu bwe bwaggwawo n'agamba nti babubyo pyu, n'agenda mu nsiko n'abalala bonna ne bamugoberera. Nze saagenda kubanga nali ndi n'obwana bwange, asiina we mbuleka. Naye njagala kubabuulira nti bannyinazi baagenda bakibona ba anko, naye nabonaboneyo nga ndi nakawaawo nga nsomesa, nga batugamba labayo ennyindo zammwe mugoberere Museveni, mugende mugoberere. Ne tubonaabona tuukira ddala bwe yatuuka wano n'agamba ebyo byonna bigwawo. Ne tugenda ne tukola constitution. Nze nali mu parliament kumala emyaka yange 17. Nali mu LC, naliko vice chairperson na Kawa division, ezo LC zonna naziyitamu. Ne tukola constitution ne tugamba never again are we going tujja kuddamu mu biri ebyedda. Kaakati bwe mbiraba nga biddamu. Mwe temumanye ebigatto by'abasajja bano bajja bambadde ebigaali bindi biri dak nga balina bw'olaba emmotoka eriko UC ng'odduka. Kiringa kati bw'olaba drone n'odduka. Biyinza bitya kuddamu bwe biti. Naye nga nti owange nze sijja kutya kintu kyonna, kubanga abantu bonna balinga babasayirensinze. Abavubuka bano abato be basinzeyo okubuzaawo ne battireyo kubanga teri abamanyi, teri aboogerako, teri ki. At least balibo badduka ne Museveni bagenda mu nsiko. Naye bano basigala wana batadduse ne bagenda mu nsiko. Kubonaabona ne bafa bali eyo bafiira eyo. Babasibira bwereere. Ne ngamba nze kasita kangende njogere. Nze ne bwe bantwala drone entute naye tejja kuntwala nze tebansobola, ndi mwana wa Katonda. Katonda yankuma yampa omumwa ngukozese nteekwa gukozesa kutuuka bw'alaba nti maze n'antwala. Naye abaana abo bafiira ki? Nze ne bwe ngenda nazadde abaana ndina bazzukulu, at least ndina ligase gyendeseewo. Naye bano abaana batanatandika na kukola. Bano abaana kubanga balaba ebintu bibasobedde, young people nga kye bakola nga babatta nga bababuzaako nga why? Lwaki tebalina okuvaayo nabo? Museveni yagamba yaleeta democratic governance. Katoba waleeta democratic governance, lwaki toyagala alternative view? Fena tetwakolebwa nga tulina okulowooza the same and do the same. Democratic government ebeerawo ne government no opposition, and omulimu gw'opposition kwe criticizinga government. Gwe mulimu gw'opposition olwoke ogigambe oginenye nti kino temukikoze, kino temukikoze, nabo bakirabe bakikole. Naye omulimu gwa gavumenti si kusirisa opposition ne babakwata ku mumwa, bw'ogamba bakusibe, bw'ogamba badrone ekutwale bakutte. Zise drone singa fire ava mu ggulu n'azookya n'abazivuga. Panga okubonabona abana Uganda. Kati ate President Museveni mu kifo ky'ogamba nedda, nze narwanirira Bannayuganda babeere abantu babeerewo boogere bafune eddembe bakole emirimu gyabwe nga bwe bajagala, bacriticizing government kubanga democracy kye kitegeeza. Yagamba nze simanyi balimba. Ne juzi naraba omukazi unalingwa akyalinga Human Rights Commission mu Parliament, member wa Parliament, namulaba ku video yawo ng'ayogera ng'agamba nti bwe bagendayo mu Parliament yagambye teri safe house anywhere. Ngu teri houses zonna ze bakwatiramu abantu teziriwo. Ngu teziriwo. Ntate n'ekirala nti teri bantu bonna batulugunyizibwa. Kubanga bagenda mu Parliament bwe batuukayo balimba bulimbi byokka, ngu teri yenna atulugunyizibwa. Ddala ekyo kituufu, abantu balimba. So nze on behalf Pastor Mukama yampa omumwa ng'ogeze kutuuka bw'ali ntwala, njagala kuba omulanga ku government, mulekeraawo bonyabonya abantu baffe. Kati ng'ono okabuleeta ono n'omukazi wendabye simanyi prosi ne babakyuzinga sectarianism. Nze ebya Uganda kyeva binsobera. Abannayuganda bonna bampuliriza abali eyo bakimanyi bulungi nti sectarianism kyekivuga government ya Uganda wano. Nga tomanyi who is who, bagende bazirabe. Mugende mu organization zonna ezifuna esente nyingi oba ezikola emirimu eno ey'amaanyi mulabe baana abaliyo. Mugende mulonde baana abafuna scholarship bagende basome bya fuel. Baani mu Uganda muno tribes tuyina nyingi, mugende mulabe bameka. Is it proportional representation? Waliyo nti buli omu naye yafunayo kyali. Aba mugende yewe ogende Entebbe airport n'oyingiramu omwo n'olaba. Institutions zonna sectarianism government yonyini yegipromote nze yegikora. Kakati abantu b'omu government kuva ddala kutuuka wansi bapracticinga sectarianism, implementinga sectarianism. Naye bw'okasita gw'ogiraba nga nze Matembe nga bwe njogerako, gwe oli supposed kugala amaaso go n'ogalawo n'omumwa gwo n'otabalaba. Biringa omanyi nze enva enkole ewaliyo sectarianism eya religion, abakatoliki n'abaprotestant. Bw'okyogera n'ogamba nti naye wano nga waliwo sectarian ya religion, ayayayaya gwe bagamba gw'oli sectarian. Gw'okiraba n'okyogera, naye abakikola bo kiri bulungi. N'olwekyo ekyo tetujja kukyagala. Ndabye ekyaji ye batadde ku musajja ono sectarianism, ngwaliwo sentensi gye yayogera, simanyi ngu neekola ki. Sentensi gye yayogera myezi 5 egiwedde. Waliwo evidence nti kino kyatabula, simanyi Abanyankole n'Abahima. Nze nali simanyi nti Abahima is a different tribe from Banyankole. Naye bwe ndabye ekyaji wano, ono prosecutor ow'omu government alabika ya promotinga sectarianism n'adividinga Abanyankole mu tribes z'Abanyankole n'Abahima, Abahima n'Abanyankole bw'ataddemu. Nze sibitegeera ebyo. N'olwekyo ono omwami Kabuleeta ne munne babakwata kubanga balina different alternative view, kubanga bote bawagira movement, kubanga betorola mu district sibasomesa abantu economic empowerment, babagambe by'obwavu mbireke NRM bye bagambe ngu binabafuula bagaga mbiveko kubanga bya bulimbi, ndoza bwatyo bwabulira abantu. Ate it is my right. Nze ndi right yange kugenda ku meeting abantu bane ne bagamba nti bananga ebine ebyemiruka simanyi parish model bya bulimbi mwali mulabyeyo sente ezivaayo mbyogere ne mbagamba nti muleke tusutuke twerwaneko twekulakulanye. What's wrong with that? N'olwekyo eno meeting twagiyise batuyise wano tugambe no, stop, arrest, lekerawo okusiba bana Uganda, mulekerawo okubonyabonya bana Uganda, mulekerawo. Ate tetugamba nti si kituufu, ffe tetugamba nti kiri wrong okukwata Omunayuganda ng'akoze ensobe. Omunayuganda bw'aba akoze omusango bamukwate, naye bamukwate bagende nga bagendera mu mateeka ag'okumukwata. Waliwo constitution, waliwo amateeka ge twakola ffe nga NRM government. Nze nali member wa Constitutional Commission, ne making sure nti bye nalaba emabega eyo tebijja kuddamu Uganda muno. Nali member wa CA delegate, naliwo cabinet minister, nga tugamba nedda biri ebyatuttaga biveewo. Tulina amateeka bw'oba ogenda kukola omuntu aba accused. Moreover mu Uganda principle yaffe egamba you are innocent. Innocent simanyi kukiteeka mu Luganda, naye oba oli innocent tuuka nga kooti ekusanze ng'oli guilty. Naye wano mu Uganda kati bwe bakukwata olunaku lwe bakukwatirawo bakukwata ng'oli guilty. Ne bakukwata mu ngeri eyotalisaanidde mu kukwatwamu. Oyina okujja omupoliisi ayina kujja ne identity card n'agamba nti am police officer so and so, nkukwata kubanga wakoze omusango bwe guti era nze ngenda kutwala ku Central Police wali within 48 hours bakutwala mu kooti ne bakucharginga ne bakutwala mu kooti. bw'otuuka mu kooti kesi bw'eba eri bailable bakuwa bailo, bwe batali bailable bakulekayo. Naye ne bwe bakulekayo, nze etteeka lye nasoma ligamba nti bw'omala mu kooti omwaka gwonna mulamba nga tebanawooza musango gwo, bail is what? Automatic. Naye nze njagala kurifaringa nga bano ba members ba parliament ababiri abasinga akalulu bagende mu parliament kukiikirira abantu baabwe, kati bamaze omwaka n'emyezi 7 bali mu kooti. Omusango sigumanyi guki, tetugumanyanga. Ekibaganya okugusala sikitegeera. Naye gwe oyinza kugenda okwata member wa parliament muntu mukulu nnyo kubanga abantu baba bamulonze abakiikirire mu parliament. Bw'oba ogenda kumukwata oteekwa kubanga okoze investigations ezimala, oyina na charge eri very clear, n'ogenda n'omuteekayo nti omusango guguno, n'alwoka n'atandika n'awooza. Naye gwe tonamanya na evidence yonna, naye omwakyuzinga n'omuteeka mu kooti omwaka n'emyezi 7 tavaayo, ate nga release yandibadde automatic eya bail. Lwaki tavaayo sitegeera. Judiciary simanyina kyekola bano ba magistrate abatuula wale ne babakozesa ng'abantu abatalina bwongo mu mutwe gwabwe. Ebiragiro bye basoma nga tebabigenderawo. Gamba nze simanye kiri wano. Kati abo bali awo. Why should 2 members of parliament ne basigala mu prison ne parliament nayo ng'eri awo esirise? Yenu parliament tukyagina. Anyway, ebyo kambirekerawo naye nze mbadde nkubira omulanga government. Please, mulekerawo bye mukola. Please. Musumura abantu abo be musiba against the law. Mulekerawo okuviolatinga human rights ate nga kyabatwala mu nsiko kujja wano kuturedeeminga. Ekyokubiri, mu Abanya-Uganda muveeyo mwogere. Okwo okutya ku mutyamu mujja kubanga babakwata ekiro babatta babakwate, at least wowe oyogedde ne bakukwata bamanya nti gundi bamukwata kubanga ayogera. Naye mwe abasirikira eyo ne babakwatira eyo ne mufiira eyo, muveeyo mwogere mugane ebintu bino. Mulekerawo okutya. Bayibuli egamba don't fear. Bayibuli engamba tugambye nti bakawadi baligenda muheero, bakawadi zibajja kugenda mugeena. Nze siri ready genda mugeena ku lw'okutya. Ate ne Mukama agamba mutyaki ya n'abalwanirira. N'olwekyo muveeyo tulwanirira abantu baffe. Eno gavumenti ekooye yakola ebirungi ne bigwa, kati egenze mu bibi egenda kumaliriza bubi. Banange ngamba saasira okukola ebirungi ne mumaliriza bubi. Mukama ababeere.
Ekyatuleese wano twemulugunya ku mbeera eriwo mu ggwanga kakati ey'okukwata abantu, obubeeru w'amateeka, okubuzaawo abantu, okusiba abantu nga tebawozezza n'ebintu ebifaanagana bwe bityo. Abantu abamu babakwata wano mu biseera ebyokulonda tebalabikanga. Tukitwala nti abo bayinza n'okuba nga bakola ki nti baafa. Abalala balinga bano bemba ba parliament Basegirinya ne Ssebwannyana bakutte omwaka mulamba, obujulizi tebuliwo, batwala mu kkooti. Era bwewetegereze nnyo engeri gye babakuttemu teraga nti bajja kuleeta obujulizi, naye balina engeri gye babonerezaamu. Case in point, waliwo case ya omukulembeze w'ekibiina kino ekya NEED bamukutte mu kiseera kino bamuvunaana obusosoze, naye bamuvunaana n'omukyalo omulala nti baayogera ku conference eyo yali mu Serena. Ate ekirungi nange naliwo, naye nze nzijjukira nti omukyala yali yeemulugunya obusosoze obuli mu bukulembeze bw'eggwanga. Naye simanyi oba y'ensonga gye bamuvunaana ey'okwemulugunya ku busosoze, naye ku tteeka erya sectarianism lye batugamba nti eri obusosoze, kyensobola okulyogerako kiri nti buli gwe bavunaana mu tteeka eryo bamuvunaana, naye bw'ogenda okwetegereza obusosoze yaba avunaana gavumenti y'okubaamu obusosoze. Tebangayo omuntu gwe baali batudde mu kkooti ne bamuvunaana ne bamusinza omusango nakani mu tteeka eryo, era sisuubira nti kiribaawo embeera ejja kubeera ng'egenda mu maaso. So okukwata abantu nga tebawozezza mu biseera bya tutera nnyo okwemulugunya ku gavumenti ezaaliwo okuva emabega ezaali zebisa bwezityo oba bwezityo, naye gavumenti ya Amin yalinanga emmotoka Toyota Crown UVS zezaali enamba zaazo zezaabuzangawo abantu. Ku mulembe guno tulina zi Toyota Hiace drone zibuzaawo abantu, naye kifuuse etteeka. Lwaki ŋŋamba nti kifuuse etteeka ekyokubuzaawo abantu? Newankubadde nga omukulembeze w'eggwanga yavuddeyo n'agamba nti minisita wa justice Norbert Mao abulize ku nsonga eyo. Awo bwe weetegereza ebyobufuzi, okusooka tulina Human Rights Commission, tulina office ya DPP, tulina aba CID, aba Special Branch, tulina ebitongole ebibuuliriza. Minisita wa justice talina busobozi bubuuliriza, talina infrastructure. Kati olaba statement ey'okuguumaaza abantu nti wajja kubaawo okubuuliriza. Bali abantu badde bakola omulimu ogwo era abagukola aba Human Rights Commission weebali, naye tosobola beebuuzaako ne tukifuula nti waliwo bodi endala ejja okubuuliriza. Tekiwa nnyo ssuubi nti munaabaamu ekintu ekikulu ekivaamu. So embeera eyo gye tusaba nti ekome mu Uganda tuwa kifaananyi kirungi. Omuntu gwe basibye ne baba nga tebamukkiriza bannamateeka kugenda okumwebuuza, yeebuuze ku bannamateeka be, oba n'abooluganda babe nga bamukyalira wa gye bamusibidde. Ebyo byonna bimenya amateeka. Ate ne institution ya prisons y'abasibe bw'ebanga nayo esobola okugondera amateeka agava mu ebiragiro ebiva mu gavumenti, n'etagoberera amateeka kukkiriza ba lawyers genda kukyalira basibe baabwe n'abafamire, kiba kitegeeza nti abavunaana abantu abo bayinza okuba nti balina bujulizi, ate baba baagala bababonereze nga tebannakola ki, tebannabasalira na musango. Naye ng'ate amateeka gagamba mu Uganda nti omuntu aba talinaako musango ng'omusango tegunnamusinga mu kooti. So embeera eyo emenya amateeka gye twemulugunya, gye tugamba nti singa ekoma kyandibadde kirungi. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala. Anti kakati bw'otunuulira charge sheet egamba nti Kabuleta tribe ye Munyoro, Ayebare ye Munyankole, Prosi ye Munyankole. Nate babavunaana okuba nti baleeta, sijja kumanya discontent, naye bajja kuleeta ebizibu wakati w'Abanyarwanda, Abahima n'Abanyankole. Kati bw'otunuulira charge sheet yo yennyini etemye mu Banyankole n'egamba nti Abanyankole, ate abamu ne bayita Abahima, ate abalala ne bayita Abanyarwanda. Yo charge sheet kyekola ki? Teyogera nti yazza musango guno, era erabika teyagala nsonga yennyini omusango gwe bazza kwogera nti gundi yagamba bw'ati, ne bagamba bugambi nti secretariat mubagezaako okwawula yawula mu bantu. Kizibu nnyo okugamba nti Omunyankole ate gw'ovunaanye nti ajja kuwawula mu Banyankole, naye ate nga gwe ku charge sheet oyawudde mu Banyankole n'otemamu nti ate mu Banyankole mulimu Abahima ne mubeeramu n'abantu abalala. Awo wali ensonga. Singa wabeerawo yeetaaga okuvunaanyizibwa ku bujulizi bwe ndabako wano yandibadde DPP si wakiri ono Prosi Ayebare omunyankole ate ne Kabuleeta yennyini omunyoro simanyidde ddala anyway olwokuba obujulizi bwennyini tebabutadde wano ate nga buli mu maaso ga kkooti bo bennyini sijja boogerako naye ku kyendabako wano bano bennyini aba poliisi bandibadde bavunaanibwa kukola ki kutematema mu mawanga. Obuzibu etteeka teririna buzibu enkwata y'etteeka etteeka lino lyerimu ku mateeka ge basooka okuleeta mu magezi gaabwe. Nze ku lwange saaliwo mu kiseera ekyo era salabawo magezi lwaki baleeta etteeka lino naye bw'olaba engeri etteeka gye balikuttemu mu nkola buli ayogera ku busosoze n'agamba nti mu kitongole kino bw'ogendamu ojja kusanga mu ggwanga limu oyo nga bamuvunaana mu tteeka lino nti agezaako okutematema mu mawanga. Kati omuntu ajjayo statistika eraga nti mulimu obusosoze ate gwe bavunaana ng'ate etteeka baalireeta kujjawo obusosoze bali baavunaana obusosoze nga yeemulugunya bo tebaayo muntu yenna akola ki abagambako. Tukitegeeza nti obusosoze bw'obanga avunaana abasosoze kiba kitegeeza nti gwe ate avunaana gwe wennyini gwaba omuki omusosoze because kati obusosoze bw'oba onywereza mu nankani mu system ekiyinza okukolebwa sijja kyogerera kazindaala. Nti nsabye wabeewo bakyuseemu.
Kyoko ono anyambye n'agamba ekigambo obusosoze. Kati bw'obuuza nti kiki ekiyinza kukolebwa, nze kyenjagala kubagamba eno gavumenti eyaffe ya NRM bwe yajja wano yajja nga erina intentions nungi z'okulwanirira abanyayuganda n'okumeeshinga sure ngu abanyayuganda bali bulungi tebalinga bwe baali mu gavumenti seziri. Naye bw'emaze kubeerawo kyeyava yateekako etteeka eryo kubanga edda waaliwo obusosoze bungi mu biseera bya Mini nga toli mu nubi tokola mulimu tofuna ki toba ki, mu biseera by'Obote nga toli mulango oba mukyoli tofuna ki toba ki bwe bityo. Ye neegamba nti ye bw'ejja wano ebyo byonna egenda kubijjako munyayuganda yenna munyayuganda. Neegamba tulina unity, one of the 10-point program ng'eri unity. Naye bw'egenze kulaba eruddewo mu bukulembeze constitution gye twateekako n'egyonoona n'ebisangulamu bye twali twagala ebyali bigenda kuyamba abanyayuganda, kati naye neddamu neekola ki nga bali bwe baali. N'olwekyo kati lino etteeka terikyalina mugaso kubanga bo bonnyini abaliteekako kye bali baagala okubonereza kwa oyo akola obusosoze. Naye kati beesanze babukolera ddala 100% bye babukola tebalina na nsonyi. Ate waliwo omuntu kola ekintu ng'alinamu ensonyi, sense of shame. Naye bo bano temuli mu sense of shame yonna, temuli nsonyi. Wabala kyova olaba gwe bw'okiraba n'okyogerako bakwata gwe. Kati gwe bw'olaba obusosoze n'obwogerako bakwata ani? Gwe. Baabo tebalina nsonyi. Ate pawa zonna baazifunira ddala bakola nga bwe baagala. Kati otherwise lino etteeka ery'obusosoze lyandibadde erivaawo kubanga baaliteekako be bonnyini be balimenyera ddala 100%. Kati ne baba nga bwe byali luli. N'olwekyo kati likyakolawo ki? Naye ate n'ekirala nze njagala kugamba nga tumaliriza nti katugambe ng'ono Kabuleeta we bakutte n'ono omukazi ngu babakwatira busosoze. Si kyekyo, babakwatira politics ne banoonya chapter, banoonya engeri gye babasibako omusango nti tunaabagamba tubakwatidde ki. Babakwatidde okugenda kubuulira abantu, kugenda mu bantu ne bababuulira ebintu ebikwata ku economic empowerment, kubanga kusooka Kabuleeta yali ayesimbye ku bwa president. Ate ba president bano boolaba ba political parties tebalina right kutambula kwogera n'abantu. Bw'obalaba baziina bateekwa kubateekako obukwakirizo. Oyinza kuyita meeting n'ogenda n'oyogera, babateekako obukwakirizo. Kati yo babadde agenda ng'abuulira abantu naye balina okumukwata banoonye kyaji gye bamuteekako bagimuteekeko. Ate n'ekirala lino etteeka ery'obusosoze lirina beyiro. Kati omusajja ng'oyo nga bamuganira kibeyiro n'asoma ekyaji eno ng'egamba ng'ayinza kutoroka. Omuntu ali ayagala kwesimba kuba pulezidenti ate ng'atoroka. Ate atoroka alagawa. Timuli magezi kugamba nze na bano bamagistrate sibategeera bano abali omuntu muyinza kubasiruwaza nga mulaba omanya amateeka ogayina naye n'otya n'osalamu ebitali bituufu. Biringa bano abagaana bano ba members of parliament biro. Simanyi bantu bangeri kyabo ne bagamba komawo kubanga batya ku lw'emirimu yaabwe, kubanga batya. Ate nze bamagistrate abo kye bansoberako ne bajudges tebalina buyinza bwa kujajinga Katonda yabagaana dda. Bwe banga batudde mu ntebe kujajinga balina okujajinga mu linnya lya Katonda, si mu linnya lya pulezidenti w'eggwanga lino. N'olwekyo anyway nze kandeeka okwogera ebingi ebyange nabyogera dda naye kugamba kubanga nkyali mulamu sinafa ate nga abantu baffe babonyaabonya ate nga ndina omumwa gwange ndina okwogera naye byebyo. Naye ekikulu bagende basumulula abantu balekeraawo okubonyaabonya abanyayuganda.
Mami Matembe, you talked about statement into when you were in the government, you never sat with Museveni, no mugamba akole bibi. And then for the 20 years that you spent working with NRM, you never condemned the wrongdoings. I
never condemned the wrongdoing.
You never empowered wrongdoings. Like they were supporting and okole bibi.
Omanyi bwomba mugenda kubuuza ebibuuzo ebitegeerekeka. Kati siraba n'ekibuuzo ky'oleeta wano. Kubanga obuuza ki? Nakugambye nze Miriam Matembe ono omwana abadde anyakyuzinga nakola bibi. Ne mugamba nze Miriam Matembe ne everybody knows. Emyaka 17 nagimara mu parliament obwa minister namarako emyaka 4 n'ekitundu nga first minister of ethics and integrity nga nkondemingira ddala abali babba byonna nga bw'ogenda n'osanga nti Matembe gwe genda okole research oyagala kumbuuza ki? Genda okole research oba olabe nakola wrong, supporting wrong government nga nkola ebiru wrong. Not at all. Simanyi ky'obadde oyagala kubuuza nkole ki? Nkwe evidence oba saakola bibi. Ky'obadde oyagala. Kati ekibuuzo kibadde tekizze oba tekyazze obiteetera kumuluganda. Nze Miria siwagira wrong. First of all ky'olina okumanya nze kasita okola ekibi k'obe pulezidenti k'obe magistrate k'obe judge k'obe ekinja kukyogera. K'obe political party okola bubi mbyogera. Bw'okola ebirungi mbyogera. N'olwekyo nze na embracinga NRM government nenkola nga focus yange yali yakukola ki ebirungi. After all passion yange ye to fight for equality, justice and fairness. Nange ndinga semwogerera omugenzi semwogerera yagenda wamulira ngu ebibye yakola byali biki mu government. Waliwo ffe Katonda be yateekako nti tulabe tukondeming ebiru wrong to blessing ebiri right tuyogereko. N'olwekyo nze byebyo byenkola. Oba ogwo oli mwana muto wakandaba tomanyi lwaki maze emyaka 17 nga bangoba kuweereza Abannayuganda. Bangoba nga nkyali muto nga nkyalina n'amaanyi gange g'okukola ne bangaana okuweereza Abanyayuganda kubanga nyimirira ku mazima. Owulidde? Nze since I left 17 years nenva mu parliament nenva mu government ya Uganda teri wadde ne position yonna yinyinza kufuna nti nkolera Abanyayuganda. Tokiraba kubanga standing up for what is right. N'olwekyo okwemerera ku mazima tokizanyisa kikostinga lot you sacrifice. N'olwekyo yoyo Matembe kyova olaba sina nabye ntya nze kubanga manyi katonda wange anyimirirako ajja kunkuuma kutuuka bwe ndimaliriza emirimu gye n'akola ki n'antwala. gye notafiire nze saamulidde naye wagambye ngu agamba nti aba opposition kakati kambuuze aba gavumenti ebo eyo gyalimu ya internal affairs abakutta abantu abannayuganda ababatadde mu prison gye tutamanyi ababakuba baba injuring the way they have injured them bo lwaki tebanoonyerezebwako? njagala mbuuze ekyo bo lwaki anaabanoonyerezaako? kubanga ne bwogezaako kubanoonyerezaako bakukwata negye emikutu ogiraba gye bali abantu babyagala kubijjayo babyogere ne bagamba bateekeko n'etteeka lya social media. oyo tafiire byayogera musaasira kubanga ye kennyini amanyi bye yakola ng'ali mu nsiko yali abitugamba bali bakozinga keyosi ku bantu balwoke bagambe nti aba gavumenti bye bakikoze. owulidde kati wuuno bwe bimusobedde nti babuuliriza bu opposition nze kyenjagala kwogera kiriwo ekiti bw'oba oyagala ku investigating opposition kye bamaze ebiseera bino byonna nga bakola buli lunaku ba investigating opposition buli lunaku bakyagulanyi bakabureta singa babadde teba investigating opposition kabureta yandibadde kati musibe. kati nze bwangamba nti government investigating opposition simanyi kyategeeza kubanga ebadde ebeera buli kiseera ba investigatinga nange nze kennyini atalina party opposition nange bangoberera byenjogera bwe bangoberera n'olwekyo buli kiseera buli lunaku baba ba investigating opposition n'olwekyo nze simanyi kyayogera naye nze njagala kumubuuza ye bo abatukwata abakwata abantu baffe abababonyabonya anaaba investigating. ate nawulidde Gen Museveni ng'agamba president ng'agamba nti bagende Mawuyi aba agenda na investigating nga ye minister we internal affairs ali awo lwaki si yabikolako? internal affairs ndaba ye investigating abaki abakole ensobe kakati kubanga balabye abapoliisi babakuba n'agamba ba investigating opposition oba ba investigating opposition properly ne bafollowinga bye bakola ne basanga bikyamu ne babakwata properly ekyo teri akigaana. naye nze njagala kumubuulira oba tanategeera abannayuganda batamiddwa gavumenti bagitamwa dda batamiddwa bye babakola abalala balina obusungu ebinigane by'amaanyi. n'olwekyo oyinza nakusanga abo abantu abagenda ne bakwata poliisi ne bakola oyinza kusanga tebalina connection naki n'opposition. oyinza okusanga tebalina connection n'opposition oba oyinza kusanga gavumenti erina bye yeteekamu neekola eryoka efuna opportunity ey'okukola ki y'okukwata opposition kubanga yatugamba nti babikolangako wa eri mu nsiko bali bajjanga eyo Luweero ne basanga abantu ekiro abalala ne babatta ne bakola ebitali bituufu ku makya ne bajja ne babasaasira ne babagamba nti mulabye obote kyabakola muveeyo mujje mutujoining. eyo tactic bagikola bamanyi kugikozesa yinza na kugikozesa wano mu gavumenti tomanya.
Thank you very much. Thank you, senior citizens, for sparing time to add on your voices to the unlawful arrest of Uganda. Fellow, excuse me, can we have some silence? Can we have only one? We are about to wind up. I really want to appreciate Honorable Dr. Miriam Matembe for sparing time to come and sit with us. Sincere thanks goes to Honorable Lule Wasua for being with us, and elders from Bunyoro. and all of you, the journalists, and everybody who spared time to be with us. As we wind this conference, I also want to echo my voice and still demand for immediate release of our President, Joseph Kabuleta, and all political prisoners. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Mama, as you go, please pray for us because we are not safe. Any minute as we leave this house, the drone may be waiting for us there. So we kindly need you to bless us as a mother. Thank you.
So you stand up and I pray. We didn't even pray at the beginning. Our loving Father in heaven, we want to thank you for your love, for your care, for your protection, for your concern. We want to praise you, Lord my God, because you are the God of all gods. You are the King of kings. You are the Lord of lords. And you are supreme. You are sovereign, Lord my God. And that's why our motto is that whatever we do it for you and our country. We want to apologize and say we are sorry because we have violated the covenant which we made with you. That whatever we do it for you and our country. Instead, we do everything for our stomachs and our clans. We violated the covenant, Lord my God. No wonder we are going through these serious challenges. But this notwithstanding, we still give you honor and glory. For us who are still alive, for us who can still talk, Lord my Father, we thank you. And we bless your name. And we ask for your forgiveness where we have failed. And we want to place our leaders into your hands, Lord my God. Because these leaders, your word says leadership comes from you. But Lord my Father, the leadership in this country is failing you because it is not serving us according to your loving principles that you give us. Leadership is about service. Your word says in Psalm 78 that King David knew that you had made him a king and exalted his kingdom Israel for the sake of your people Israel. And therefore what he did, he served his people with skillful hand and an integrity of heart. But Lord my God, our leaders are not doing this. And for us, what can we do? We have no power over them. We have no authority over them because they have denied it to us. Our power and authority is to appeal to you, Lord my God, as your children, so that you may hear our cry and redeem our people, Lord my God. Hear our cry for the people who have been tortured, for the young people who have died somewhere in prison, those who are kidnapped, those who are injured, those who are maimed, those who are suffering, Lord my God. It is you who knows where they are. It is you who can redeem them and release them. And since you are sovereign, Lord, over the authority in this land, we cry to you and ask you, Lord, hear our cry and redeem these people and save them from the suffering, Lord my God. We want to bring your servant Kabuleta and all these others who are imprisoned with him, and all these Muslims we hear whom they arrest. We want to pray also for all those whose police husbands and sons have been killed. Because every killing, whoever is doing it, whether government, whether opposition, whether anybody, is bad. And therefore we cry on behalf of those people to you, Lord my God. Will you never remember us? Relentless, my God. Remember Uganda. Remember Uganda, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Because your scripture tells us that when children of Israel cried to you, you would remember them and redeem them. We have reached a stage, Lord, where we are calling for your timing, Lord my God, that you may redeem Ugandans from the suffering. Some are poor, some are hungry, some are suffering, and yet the wealth is being robbed by few people whom you gave power to lead us, Lord my Father. But I'm comforted by your word which says that the wicked will perish, the wicked have their time, and yet the righteous will be redeemed. Lord my Father, I pray that you may release your Holy Spirit upon all these people who are torturing Ugandans, and upon Ugandans who are so scared that they may rise up and stand within your word which says that we should not fear. We should not fear. Your word says that we should not fear those who kill the body only, but we should fear the one who kills the body and the soul. May you put that into Ugandans that they may rise up and stand and refuse and reject the suffering that is being imposed upon them, because they will stand in you as a rock. And Lord, my fathers, we go out of this meeting, a meeting which would have provoked and angered those in government. Protect us. Protect every person that has been participating in this meeting. These young people who are talking about Bunyoro, support, protect them. Let them be rooted in you, that you may fight for us. Because your word says the one in me is stronger than the one in the world. And it says that if God is for me, who can be against me? May all these people who are here stand for you, that you may fight for them and fight against the enemies, so that the enemies may not overcome. Lord, we thank you, because we believe that when we pray, you hear us. And when you hear us, you answer us. Lord, my God, answer our cries and redeem your people. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, we have prayed. Amen.
Miles, they can't say anything. They fear. But we want to drive out the fear out of every Munyoro, wherever they are. And we are not going to go back. Because now, I think enough is enough. It's becoming too much. They have gone to an extent that Bunyoro, they now nickname it Albertine region. We don't have that community called the Albertine community in Uganda or in Bunyoro, as if they want to phase out the word Bunyoro and Banyoro. Yes. Now our children will not know that Banyoro is a tribe. They will think there is Albertine, which we don't even understand. What's that? Huh? Yeah, we are against that one, and should stop calling Bunyoro the Albertine region. We don't know who was Albert. We don't have even his grave in Bunyoro. We don't have a trace of such a community in Bunyoro. And they now call it the Albertine region. Now, I want to ask, of recent, they scrapped the history of Bunyoro from the curriculum of Uganda. Why not other histories in Uganda? Is it that sectarianism that is being practiced, and they want to put it under the law? Yes. Bunyoro has the oldest history in Africa. And it is real. And we want to know why they don't want people to learn and understand about Bunyoro or the history of Bunyoro. There is something going on, I think, which we should stand up and resist as Bunyoro. Kableta is the son of Bunyoro. And I'm very sure this regime never expected that someone from Bunyoro would stand up and stand against this rule. I think that's why Kableta is being tortured. And we are demanding for his release unconditionally. Because when we start talking, I don't think we will keep quiet. They will not manage to shut us down, because you can shut our mouth, but you may not shut up what we are talking. You see, one thing the oppressors know is that the amount of oppression you exert on the people being oppressed will determine the amount of resistance. And that will not be managed. And in a long run, as they go on haunting Bunyoro and Banyoro, I think we shall start to look, to discover ourselves and to discover Bunyoro, the position of Bunyoro on the map of Uganda. And once we decide that, it will not be reversible. I think they should know that. Unless they release him, but we are starting now. We are starting now. I know they think no one will talk about it. We may decide to keep quiet, but we shall be talking. We shall be talking. And if they don't hear what we are talking, they will see what we are talking. So as Banyoro and Bunyoro, we demand for the unconditional release of Joseph Kabuleta. We need him released because he's now our voice. We don't have people voicing out Bunyoro issues and other areas. This thing started as a small thing, but it has now, I think, come to mature. I remember they had kidnapped someone also, who was called Atugonza Francis, because he stood against the government. He was kidnapped. But when we rose up, they released him. And if that is the way to go, we shall keep rising up. And sometime we shall rise up and we shall not go down again. Otherwise, in Bunyoro we are not happy because we are seeing how they are mismanaging the resources of Bunyoro. Land, the environment, the forests are no longer there. Bunyoro was green, but it's no longer green. Why? The trees are being cut down. Big forests are under attack. And the people cutting down the forests are not Banyoro. We grew up knowing that forests are not cut. And now the reverse is true. They are cutting down forests in masses. And the people cutting down the forests are not Banyoro. We have people owning chunks of lands in Bunyoro who are not Banyoro, and we don't know how they got the land. But Banyoro are landless. So that alone will make us talk or rise up. Now they have encroached on us, the humans. After the land and the resources, now they are on the real people. Think they have gone beyond. They have gone beyond. They must check it very fast before we come up to check it up for ourselves. So, with that, I think I welcome you, and I want you to push our voices to the next level so that there is an impact and something is done for justice. And maybe another version, the way we see this, we are wondering at arresting someone who mentioned that there is sectarianism somewhere, rather than going for someone who is practicing sectarianism. That's why we are saying that they are abusing sectarianism. Otherwise, sectarianism is natural. Therefore, we are against that camouflage behind the law to torture and arrest people like Joseph Kabuleta. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ugandans, my name is Sewami Chwanuka Kenneth, and I hail from Bunyoro. If mentioning the word Bunyoro is sectarian, I will also come to understand about it. However, as I speak here, I speak with a lot of agony, more especially when the moderator was introducing us as elders from Bunyoro. This, I want to challenge the elders from Bunyoro. And on the same ground, I want to thank the elders amidst us here who have not given up. In Bunyoro they are elders, but some seem to have given up, or they did not get this communication. But I want to pray that they should also not give up, because the battlefield is not leveled. And it has become a practice that the law is being applied selectively, more especially to whoever shows interest in vying for the presidency. That is very unfortunate, because much as we are talking about Kabuleta, but we have seen some other individuals as well. They have been persecuted, arrested unlawfully. This one challenges all of us that nobody knew that the current president or the seat would be in Western. At one time the seat went to North, not so. But do we ever think that if people are mistreated that they would revenge? How do we feel at the end of it all? And I also want to challenge institutions like the DPP's office, the Uganda Human Rights Commission. Issues to do with human rights, they are cross-cutting. They have no boundaries. These institutions should not just be in place as per se to fulfill the constitutional mandate that there shall be this office, there shall be this office. They should exercise their full powers. You get? They should exercise their full powers. And even civil society, I want also to commend those civil society organizations that are very active in fighting for the observation of the rights of Ugandans. But those that are silent, they are doing this country a disservice. Mama Matembe mentioned about the word fear. It is written in the Bible that those people who are fearful will never inherit the kingdom of heaven. Not so. Yes. Why do we fear? We should not fear. We should stand up and talk and condemn all human rights violations in this country. More especially, when we talk about the three institutions, the arms of government, the executive, the parliament, and the judiciary. In this particular case, I want to send my message to parliament. Issues of human rights are more important than the issues that they are making all media houses busy with censoring ministers. Those ones they are far, far below what Uganda expects today out of the sitting government. They should advocate for the observation of human rights, more especially their own two members that have not fully represented their people in parliament. I think it's coming to a year plus months. So they should not just sit. Then how about judiciary? Last time I was seeing the CJ expressing his dissatisfaction with how the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, came to the rescue of a mother and a woman. But now, how about these people who are being arrested unlawfully, and the judiciary seem not to be exercising its powers? It's a really disappointment on the side of the people of Uganda. So, I want to call upon all Ugandans. And when I talk about Ugandans, Bunyoro is inclusive. That we should raise our voices in as far as observation of rights of Ugandans is concerned. Because today we are talking about Kabuleta, tomorrow it is going to be any other Ugandan. Therefore, this one calls for all of us to raise up our voices. And I want to request all Ugandans to hold their leaders, more especially at Parliament, members of Parliament, accountable to them and ask them, to whom are they answerable? They seem to be exercising their duties in the reverse manner. So, they should be accountable to people and air out all these concerns. And the other thing is, we should all condemn any act of human rights violation in whatever manner or in whatever fora. Like this fora now here, we are condemning those human rights violations. And I want to request all Ugandans in whatever fora, when you get opportunity, condemn acts of human rights violation. See? And demand for the unconditional release of Joseph Kabuleta. And request that we never give up. We should continue. In Bunyoro, there is a clergyman, a retired bishop. He was very active. But nowadays maybe he's giving up. I want to request him, please, can we take the mantle forward? For people might not feel it when it has not yet come into your own home. But one day when it enters your own family, that's when you will feel it and you will need support of the rest of the people. So, with all those words that I've said, plus all that my fellow panelists have said, I want to thank you all for listening to me and request that Kabuleta is unconditionally released. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all the panelists. As we summarize, I also want to echo my voice and tell fellow Ugandans and those who don't want to hear that we will still continue to mount demand for the release of our president and all other political prisoners who have stayed behind bars for long. Secondly, our message of economic liberation, we will continue spreading the message. I know there are some other people who don't want Ugandans to be liberated economically. Lastly, as Need Party, we demand for the release of our president. To the journalists, if you have questions, this is the time. And if you want the Luganda version, or you'll interview them later because of time, I don't know. But if there are questions, you're free.
I'm Isaac Nwagawa. Before we have Uganda version, I am happy to have seen Honorable Matembe here. The question that I want to pose goes to you. You have talked about President Museveni